So basically I don't have an intro for this video because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Lately all my intros have been me explaining what I'm going to do or what I did do over the footage of something I did in the last video, and this is a completely new park, so I don't have any interesting footage, so this rambly bit is just going to be the intro because I have no clue. I am a squirrel. I also immediately want to say Tinopolis is not dead. You guys probably are sick of me saying that for probably the fourth time, but whenever I don't upload a Tinopolis video, I'm really scared that my brain is in delete mode, which basically means that, you know, I get really into a park for a week or a month, and then when I get into the delete mode, it's basically when I lose interest in the park and I destroy it or delete it. So I constantly have this thought in my mind that I'm like, I really need to say that I'm not deleting it. Otherwise you guys might think that I have deleted it and that it's burning in the whatever. So again, Tinopolis is not dead. You guys will probably see it Monday or Thursday, but I wanted to make the grand lie that this park was planned and that I wanted to diversify my content, which is half true. I did want to, you know, give a little bit of change between Tinopolis all the time, but this park wasn't in any way planned. This was really just my squirrel brain going nuts, wanted to build something, wanted to give myself a challenge, and this is the result. I've never built in the Arctic zone or Arctic region, so yeah, it's a challenge, and by the time I'm recording the voiceover or the commentary for this, I'm really far along, like I'm a lot further than the end of this video is going to show. And so far I have not used one pre-built roof. Every roof so far is custom, and you might wonder, why am I building spires or, you know, domes? Yeah, I'm going to get to that later. I'm just going to immediately say what the reference or inspiration is, and that is, lately I've been playing a lot of Gold Rush 2. I don't know if I can really explain that game, but it's basically this MMO set in a fantasy world where you, as a player from one of 5 races, have to face off against the one of the 6 elder dragons, which are going to destroy this fantasy world. And that's basically the premise of the story. Gold Rush 2 already implies it, but there is Gold Rush 1, which showed a little bit more of the world that Gold Rush was set in. And in this fantasy game world, there are 3 continents. You have the more Asian themed Kanta. You have the basically just a mashup of all different kinds of cultures and buildings and everything. That's Tyria. And then you have the more African / slightly Arabian cultured Elona. From the buildings you already will see where most of the inspiration came from. I also just think Tyria is really like Elona and Kanta really have like a bit of like one culture that they stick to, or one region, and Tyria is just a mess. And Tyria is the continent you start on. Kanta in Gold Rush 2 is not, well, it isn't there yet. It's probably going to go there because yeah, it was in Gold Rush 1, so probably will be in Gold Rush 2. Elona is visitable in Gold Rush 2 with the recent expansions, and that's where most of the inspiration for this park is going to come from. And Elona is basically this a bit more deserty, as I said, African themed continent. And you might wonder, why am I building in the Arctic zone? I wanted to challenge myself, and there's this, well, not instance, but like zone that has this more Elonian styled palace in the mountains, in the snow, and it looked beautiful, and that's most of the reference. And then to actually further go into, well, Elona, because I'm not going to go into this whole shit show of a story that's behind Gold Rush 2. But Elona, as I said, is really African themed, but then you have three, well, actually four provinces, but one province is uninhabitable and literally the ground kills everything that lives. Yeah. But then you have three provinces that are livable, which is southernmost is Istan, which is more, well, it's more of an island. Then you have Korna, which is on the mainland, which is a bit more deserty and probably more African style. It's also the more militaristic one of the three. But then you have the northernmost province in Elona, which is Vabbi, which is color, gold, wealth. That's just basically how to define Vabbi. Vabbi is the wealthiest of the provinces. I don't think Vabbi actually really has a city like it had. Can I say this without having to add a spoiler tag? The expansion came out 1.5 years ago, and Elona was visible in Gold Rush 1, which is basically 10 years ago, so I think I'm in the clear, but for just to be sure, spoiler warning for basically Vabbi. So a bit of Gold Rush 1 spoiler and the recent expansion Path of Fire for Gold Rush 2. But yeah, Vabbi doesn't really have a city as of right now, and it's mostly palaces and, you know, one grand building or grand buildings. Vabbi is the wealthiest of the three, the most colorful, the most basically eccentric of the provinces. Also, because weirdly, because it's, well, not because, but it's so wealthy, but there's basically no military besides palace guards, and you know, the few guards that are in the villages, and there's one trading up, but again, spoiler warning for Gold Rush 2 Path of Fire. That trading up kinda got fucked off, but it's just so dangerous there now that it's not really a trading up anymore. So I really don't know how Vabbi sustains itself. But yeah, Vabbi really has, like, usually uses two colors, which is like this sapphire blue and ruby red. Those are the colors mostly used in their buildings, and when I say used in buildings, some buildings were completely blue with gold. Because why not? But to say like the reference is this like Elonian style palace in the mountains is more Vabbian style, because it's grand, it's wealthy, and basically it's Vabbi in a nutshell. Or at least I think that. Other players might think that that palace which I'm referencing is not really Vabbian style, more just broadly Elonian style. I just think it's Vabbi because it's grand, it's blue, and yeah. You could also say it's like Jin styled, but then did Jin have any building style to begin with? So I'm just going to leave it at Vabbian style. Whereas Vabbian is more of the, if African and Arabian style had a love child, that to me is Vabbi. Most of the opinions, well, most of the things I say in this video are opinions, so feel free to disagree, but that's my opinion. And then to get into the park, because I have been rambling on about the references and everything, but I've not talked about what I'm building actually. So the reference is this palace in the mountains, and then I thought like I wanted to build this, you know, kind of like Vabbian village in this Arctic world, that through magic or the use of these springs, these hot springs, still got this like almost tropical feel to it because of like palm trees, because they could use the heat from these springs. And yeah, a lot of times I will excuse things by saying magic. How do these springs stay here? Magic. How do these trees float? Magic. Yes, I think anyone who has seen Vabbi knows what trees I'm talking about. I love them, and I kinda get a bit crazy with them because I want to place them everywhere because I love them. But yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of realism, because to sustain an entire village on magic would not really be, you know, not even Gold Rush does that. So but then again, no, I'm going to leave that besides because it's not really relevant. But yeah, I wanted to use the hot springs to give this tropical feel because again, Vabbi is tropical, or just like Arabian culture, landscape, or African landscape. So it's hot, it's deserty, it's, yeah. This commentary is really going nowhere. It's just ramblings. But to, you know, again, get a little bit of realism, I wanted to have the entrance a little bit, you know, how can I say this? Like, you would find this city when you don't expect it, kind of like a magical place. Again, magic. And if you find this place, there's no real, like, you could just as easily be turned away. So I wanted to make like a little camp outside that like visitors would stay on the outside, because outside of this village you basically freeze to death in the snow. Yeah. To think of it, maybe that's how this city gets wealthy. Because you have to stay here, otherwise you're dead. But the bigger thought behind this park is just, you know, basically just build a Vabbian style park, or Vabbian inspired park, because it's not really Vabbian built. It's basically taking the color scheme, taking the building style, and doing my own little mashup of it. However, I'm trying to stray to the like, well, the story that Guild Wars 2 provides me about Vabbi and how it's, you know, works. So yeah, this, well, if I really wanted to make this Vabbian style, or just, you know, really completely true to the source material, this building would have been 10 times bigger. Yeah. They're not really going for realistic scales when it comes to buildings. You would have pillars the size of a freaking house. And that doesn't include the whole building, because the whole building will probably be 3 times the size of that pillar. And I don't want to build that, because that looks weird in Blanco. So, yeah. By the time I am recording this voiceover, where basically I hope you don't want to or you don't come to my videos for an informative voiceover, because any voiceover I make is basically rambling and, you know, just weirdness. But by the time I make this voiceover, I am not a lot further in with building the park, but you know, it's getting there, and so far I'm really proud of myself. I haven't used a pre-built roof once. I have a roof though that's 4K in pieces. Damn it. This... I have basically not even finished like the entrance or like the entrance area, and it's already 1/3 of the size of, or the piece count of Tianopolis. And no, I'm not going to build all custom roofs in Tianopolis now, basically because my PC wouldn't be able to handle that if I did that for the entire of Tianopolis. This park is not going to be a complete city like Tianopolis, so here I can build custom roofs and everything, because the thought behind this park is really, you know, you have 6 gods in Gold Rush 2, so there are going to be maybe 6 small areas or just 6 rides. Don't know if it's going to be rides or coasters or anything, but there's 6 parts, and yeah, that's it. I really don't know how to say it different. Like maybe, yeah, I think 6 areas and then it's done. And then I want to build this huge palace as the weenie, because as I said, Vabbi is basically palaces, wilderness, small villages, and that's it. Yeah, this park is going to be all over the place, but so far it looks good. So, to just sum up everything I've talked about, this park is going to be Gold Rush 2 Vabbian inspired. It's going to be not as huge as Tianopolis, and Tianopolis is not that, and you will probably see Tianopolis Monday or Thursday again. And also to quickly add, I did post like a video of the dark ride that's going to be in the Great Library, and that's not really scheduled in, like that part of, well, the dark ride is basically whenever I have the time in between Tianopolis, this new park, and whatever happens in my personal life. So yeah, the video is coming to an end, so hope you liked the video. If you do and want to stay up to date with me, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you Monday, and maybe there will be an extra video sometime. Anyways, again, hope you liked the video, and bye bye.